Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday.
I love the vibe. I really like this group.
Richardson to the basket, tough lay in and one.
How wide open. Three is good.
Part of being a good leader is having guys who are willing to follow.
They compete. That's the one thing I've noticed. They get after each other.
Dante flush.
Indy top left.
Three is good, Anthony Rogers.
What I really appreciate about them is they do want to just play.
And that's what happens when you bring it every day in practice. You become a disciplined, reliable player.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Let's talk Oregon Ducks basketball. From the Country Financial Studio, alongside Terry Jonz, here's Joey Mack.
Happy Tip-Off Tuesday. It still feels like playoff basketball, doesn't it? It's like the postseason is here. Oregon men's basketball coming off a split in the desert, got a good win over Arizona State, and I'm happy to report in the bracketology coming out this afternoon, the Ducks are squarely on the bubble.
I saw that.
They are part of the first four out conversation now, according to Joe Lenardi from ESPN, Joey Brackets. That's a good place to be. You're in the conversation heading into an 8 o'clock matchup against USC on ESPN2 and a 7 o'clock matchup on Saturday against UCLA. Two teams that are above the Ducks in the Pac-12 standings. Chance to make up some ground. It's an important weekend for the men.
Yeah, Charlie Cream still has the women in. They're a 9 seed, still in, but you got to get some wins. And they head down to Los Angeles Friday night against USC at 7 o'clock and then noon on Sunday over at famed Poly Pavilion.
That's right.
And a couple wins.
Grave VanSlooten, our featured student athlete from women's basketball today. Kelly Graves, also talking with Terry Jonz in a moment. And then next, men's basketball executive director Brian Fish. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. Somebody that knows Coach Altman better than most.
Yeah.
And he gave us a lot of great insight into the mind of Coach Altman. When we come back, Brian Fish on Tip-Off Tuesday. We've got a lot to come, and we went a little long with our interviews today, so Terry and I are going to get out of the way and come back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
At Mountain Dew, we'd like to remind you that the world as we know it would not exist without the number 0. Which is why, at Mountain Dew, we'd like to recognize the number 0 for making Mountain Dew Zero Sugar possible. Even with no sugar, it packs all of the bold citrus kick Dew Nation knows and loves. It's so good, you have no reason not to try it. As in 0. Get it? Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. It's zero sugar, all dew.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
You're listening to Ducks basketball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Joey Terry Jonz in the Country Financial Studio. Earlier today, Executive Director for men's basketball, Brian Fish. They're at practice right now. If you're live with us this afternoon on a Tuesday, got the chance to learn a little bit more about a guy who has been with Coach Altman for the majority of both of their careers. It was fun catching up with Brian Fish. We were just talking before we pressed record that you have not done Tip-Off Tuesday in your tenure before.
I don't think so. I think Jerry was, making sure his job was safe and would never have me on.
So what you're in for is going to be a fabulous interview on the Coach's Show this week. Okay, so I have a tradition in the studio that I really hope Armand and Chuck, Coach Martin and Coach Gates, did not warn you about.
They did not.
This is great. They listened to me. Okay, so, we're competitive. We work in sports.
Yep.
We have a leaderboard here in the studio, and it is all about telling your 2-minute life story. So I'm going to time you. And you got to get as close to 2 minutes as possible. That's the task ahead. So you can collect your thoughts, and whenever you're ready, I'm going to say go, and we're going to start the stopwatch. Ready?
Ready.
The 2-minute life story of Brian Fish. Go.
Well, I was born and raised in southern Indiana, where, basketball was a huge influence in my life. We grew up the third largest high school gym in the country at 9,000 seats. And when I was a kid, the games were sold out. You had to go a week before the season to see if you won lotteries tickets to get season tickets. So obviously that had a tremendous impact on that, and on my life. So becoming a high school player was a dream, and then I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to play. I ended my career at Marshall University. My coach got fired my senior year. And I don't think my 2 points a game, saved his job. But that's when Coach Altman got the job. He got there, and he was new. He was 29, and he had no prearranged staff. So I helped until I just wore him down and got a job. And so that worked out pretty good for me. So I stayed with him a long time. I think this is year 16 with him. Came out here when we got the job here from Creighton with Coach, spent 4 years here, got a job, head coaching job that was, came off our success here and through some really, kind words from a lot of people. And so went to Montana State for 5, enjoyed that immensely. Then last 3 years before I came back here, I was at the University of Georgia, and then I tricked Coach again, and he brought me back.
Tricked Coach again.
Yep.
That was pretty good. That was a minute and 38 seconds.
Yeah, I had more, but you stopped me.
Well,
no, that's all right.
The last 22 seconds are yours.
Well, not a lot going on.
I think it's interesting, though. And so the reason I do this is it's one thing for me to sit here and read your bio to people.
Yeah.
Right? But it's another thing to kind of hear it through your words and what you're proud of. So it sounds like growing up in Indiana, that was a big influence on
It was. It was. And, just to see that big a crowd. Think about my youth there. 80 miles away was Cincinnati. You had the Big Red Machine going on.
Yeah.
Indiana, you had the undefeated season going on when I was 10 years old. My teams never lost. The Indiana Pacers were winning the ABA. So I picked really good teams now. Not going real good the last 30 years, but it was good when I was that age. And then our high school team was really good. And so you just become involved in sports, and it's been great.
You mentioned the big crowd. Coach.
Yeah.
I mean, how influential was that in your?
Unbelievable, because you grow up in the Midwest, so you would play basketball all week or sports all week, and then Sunday you would go to church and you'd see the high school players at church, and you'd be like, he's 6'4", he's huge, and you wanted to be that guy and things like that. So it was tremendous. And then, Bobby Knight had such a huge influence, being 35 miles away in Bloomington and 40 miles away, whatever, and stuff like that, and so in Louisville won it 1 year during that time. So you had a lot of influence there, and it impacted my life.
That's cool. Okay, so stupid question. Ready?
Yeah, no stupid ones.
Executive Director is a title that encompasses a lot of things. What does one day look like as the Executive Director of the men's basketball program?
I think that's where being a head coach has really helped. You get perspective that what you don't understand until you become a head coach is how important everybody is. And so I think my job is to help out, to grab what end of the stick needs to be grabbed that day, and just to help out and to take just a little bit off of Coach Altman's plate and help him in whatever way. So what does it actually define? It just means getting up. You know, some days you hit first in the lineup, some days you hit ninth, but you got to keep the line moving.
That's true. I like the baseball analogy.
Yeah,
is baseball your second favorite sport?
Love baseball. Love baseball.
What's your third favorite sport?
Pro football. I'm a big pro football fan.
So the big three.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds were pretty good.
Oh, they were great back then. You know, if things go well, we'll get to 60 this year.
Brian Fish with us. Have you always been the funniest guy on every staff you're on?
I don't know about that. There's a lot of funny people. I don't know. I just, it's just something you try to, it depends, because sometimes, it's needed. Sometimes it's not. As a head coach, you can't be as funny. You can't be as quick, because your words impact so many people. Yeah. That you may make a joke and you think it's funny, and it's just absolutely ruined that person's day.
Yeah. Makes sense. You've never ruined my day.
Well, yeah. Well, that's good. I I quite had intended to a few times, so that I failed.
That's good. I appreciate that. But see, that's when I know that we're okay. That's why you're coming on the show.
Yeah. Well, that and payment to my Venmo account that you did.
That's right. No, again, cold hard cash. Remember?
Yeah. Well.
Cold hard cash. Coach Fish with us. So you mentioned something about like the head coach experience and experience as an assistant, support staff. Like the evolution of college basketball is that staffs have gotten bigger. It's not just sort of like the coach is the all-encompassing position. Can you walk fans through just the evolution of how staffs and like a position like yours even has evolved?
Well, you used to control the narrative by, there was only print media.
Yeah.
And, an occasional TV show or radio show by the head coach. And so you could control your message to the team. There used to be, and I'm not saying this was good or bad, but there used to be a pyramid of authority. You didn't challenge it. You did what you were told. If someone told you to get your hair cut, you cut it. You didn't say, well, hey, that's not me, and stuff like that. So the world's changed immensely, I think, in the last 5 years. You think about it. When I first got in the business, there weren't trainers, and now there's trainers, and then there weren't strength coaches, now there's strength coaches, and now there's the new gig is now there's media influence guys that do everything on Twitter for you.
Schmucks like me.
Yeah,
yes, thank you.
And so. To watch in the last 33, 34 years in the business, to see your staff grow from 4 to, our meetings are in the Matthew Knight Arena because our staffs are so big. So you got to make sure, not everyone can touch the head coach. So you've got to have people on the staff that are relaying coach's message down to what he wants done. And you've got to... I think players need a lot more one-on-one tension than they ever had. You used to have, when I played, it was very important for me that the people on my right and left knew I was a good guy. Now in the locker room, the people on the right and left really don't know each other, because as soon as they walk in and you travel with us, they get on their phone. Yeah. And there's not as much interaction. So you've got to be able to read problems better. You got to have more people involved in your program. To be able to read those problems, because the head coach has a lot of things. I mean, you throw in NIL and you throw in, kids and what they're demanding. Everybody's got their own individual coach now, trainer and stuff like that. So there's got to be a lot more hands-on stuff by the staff.
I thought that was really interesting, talking about sort of the evolution of staffs in college basketball, how they have grown, and we've seen that in football, seeing it in basketball, seeing it really all throughout college athletics, more support for each individual student athlete. That's Brian Fish, Executive Director for Men's Basketball. When we come back on Tip-Off Tuesday, more with Brian Fish on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
At Mountain Dew, we believe you shouldn't take everything so seriously. Like not being able to keep up with all the latest internet memes, not serious. Not being able to log into your crypto account, serious. Not being able to remember your partner's favorite color, kinda serious. Not being able to remember your partner's eye color, very serious. Making sure you have plenty of Mountain Dew around when you're having a good time, serious. Borrowing a Mountain Dew from your friend, not serious. Borrowing one every day, that might be getting serious. Mountain Dew, the only thing we take seriously is to do the do.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. He's Terry Jonz. I'm Joey Mack. We got Kelly Graves and Grave VanSlooten coming up talking women's basketball, but we continue now our conversation with the executive director for men's basketball, Brian Fish, talking about the weekend ahead. If I told you when you were playing that this is what college basketball would look like today, what advice would you give to like just getting into the business, Coach Fish?
Well, I would tell you getting in the business, find something that somebody doesn't want to do and become good at it. When I was growing up, people didn't like to read transcripts. They didn't like to get them in, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to learn what classes transfer into here, what classes transfer into there.
Valuable.
Be able to, walk in and somebody go, Coach, how many hours do you think this kid's bringing in, and stuff like that, because there wasn't the compliance office the way there is now, and stuff like that. So find something. Make yourself needed around. If you miss a day and no one knows you're not there, not very valuable.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You've been now in multiple different conferences and doing scouting reports and watching all these different leagues and the differences. How different is it from conference to conference in college basketball? Does it really change that much?
Yeah, it's tremendous. What you find out is you have to have a certain player in a certain spot to be good in that league. You have to have good guards. You have to have good bigs. You have to have good wings. You have to have, how many pros do you need? How athletic do you need to be? And there's, each league has a certain style that you have to learn and have to recruit to be able to win that league.
What is that in the Pac-12 right now?
It's a more skilled basketball league. The SEC is a more an athletic league. if you were to compare athleticism to the leagues, I think SEC's athleticism overall is higher. But if you were to compare basketball skill, basketball IQ, I think the Pac-12 is higher. That's that league comparison.
I'm curious for your thoughts going back to the crowds, too. Like, you and I have talked a little bit about this on the road off the air, just how there's been some great environments that you've been in, some here at Oregon, right, at Matthew Arena. When you're on the bench, how does a crowd influence how you guys go about operating? Communication is different. There's energy, all those things. How does it impact you?
Well, it's amazing. When you're a coach, you don't hear anything, but occasionally, there's somebody in the crowd that you hear. So, so when you're a coach, when you're a player, and it's like Arizona the other night. If things are going well, there's really no sound in the arena. You play. When you hear people, is usually when you get distracted. I make this joke all the time, but it's true. I heard one guy my first year at Weber. We were playing Weber State, and one guy kept saying, fish, and stuff like that. And finally I turned and looked at him, and I made eye contact with him, and he goes, you're 4 years away from being 4 years away. And I just looked at him and go, you got me, because he caught my attention, and But, you just sometimes you hear people, sometimes you don't. But, as far as communication, that's the things we practice. I think, when you see a Coach Altman work, and you get to be around him, some of those things are what makes him elite as a coach, because we get through. You don't see us make a lot of mistakes as a team when the crowd gets loud, because he's practiced it. He's held a level he wants in practice, so it becomes executed. And then the other thing is you take Will Richardson, a veteran point guard. He kind of knows and things like that. And if you look at Coach Altman's good teams, they've always been led by veteran point guards that connect with Coach.
You talked about your connection with Coach Altman. What is that relationship, Fish? How special is that to have a guy like Coach Altman you've been able to work with for so long?
Well, it's a lot more beneficial for me than him. That I can say. But having said that, there isn't an element in my life, whether it's financial, whether it's friendship-wise, whether it's advice-wise, that he hasn't had an impact in. And when you get people like that, and, one of the things he and I talked about before I came back was we didn't want to affect the friendship, because, again, I'm batting in a different order right now.
Right.
And so, it's like, can you do these things? Can you do this? And it's like, yeah, I can do those, because I think of, like I said, the head coach experience. But we have real conversations. Sometimes as a head coach, your relationships were coaches. Oh, can you bring me players? Can you design a play? Can you do this? And then when you leave the office, it's over. But my wife talks to Riva a lot. I've known his kids. I've seen them, I was there when they were born.
Yeah.
So I've seen them their whole lives and stuff like that. So we have off-the-court conversations sometimes that are, deeper and more invested.
That's cool. That's a great relationship. There's no doubt about it.
Like I said, it's been really beneficial to me.
Brian Fish joining us. Okay, talking about what's been happening on the floor, coming off a split.
Yeah.
This upcoming week. First question, talking about crowd. How big can a home crowd be against two good LA teams?
Well, I think there's two parts to the crowd. I think the student section, and then you got the fans. Our student section, because they are all courtside with right there, can have a major impact, which then influences the season ticket holders. And to see you missed it, and you really didn't know how much you missed it until COVID, when there was no students, and you can see sometimes you read where things are across the line and stuff, and certainly you don't ever want that. But the impact that students have on the other team can be fun. And I thought going back last weekend, we had those 3 possessions against Arizona where we were down 10 and we missed three 3-pointers. Had we made one of those, does that put pressure on them? And all of a sudden now you got to make a free throw that if you miss it, it can change the game, and all of a sudden the crowd gets panicky and stuff. And when we missed it and they went down and scored, and that kept the crowd in it. So I think it's huge. Our players love it. The coaches love it. When you truly, there's 2 things when you get into coaching that, for me, that are very important. You deal with a lot of things, but the relationship with the players and to have a fan support, that the fans love the team and respect the team and come and support the team, makes all those hours that you put in that nobody knows about a lot of fun.
Yeah. Lastly, keys to success on the floor against USC, against UCLA. What are you working on this week?
Well, I have the USC scout this week, so I'm a little more familiar with them. But having it's kind of strange situation. We haven't played them. And not many times do you get mid-February and you've not played a team. And then on Saturday night, we played a team that we played 2.5 months ago. And if you go back and look at the tape, we had 3 or 4 guys that are key players that weren't on the floor in that one. And so it's strange. But USC is a very good basketball team. Number 5, Boogie, can get going from deep. Peterson, number 13, is a fantastic player. So, we're going to have to do some things with them. Their size, they play 4 guards, not the traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-man. So we'll have to do some things. Their zone, their things have caused us problems in the past, so we've got to make sure we're ready to attack those. They're going to try to attack our press unlike anybody else has. So we're going to have to be ready. We're going to have to play really, really well and then regroup on Friday and get ready to go again on Saturday because, as amazing as this topsy-turvy season's been because of the injuries we've had, we have a chance this weekend to climb right back into the thick of things if we can take care of our business.
Executive Director Brian Fish, hey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I like him.
Oh, he's so much fun to talk to.
Wow.
He really is the funniest guy on the staff, and he laughed when I said that. He knows. He knows.
He does.
Yeah, Brian Fish, Executive Director. I loved what he said about Coach Altman, though, to reiterate that. I mean, somebody that has been impactful in his life. They've helped each other a lot throughout their careers and their lives. I just thought that was cool to hear that perspective from him, a relationship that dates back decades, that they've been working together and have known each other. So that was pretty cool. Brian Fish. Next up, Kelly Graves.
Women's basketball with Kelly Graves next here on Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
You're listening to Oregon Basketball from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
All right, welcome back to Tip-Off Tuesday as we talk Oregon women's basketball. Head coach Kelly Graves joining us here. And, Coach, the weekend kind of tale of two games for the Ducks. I mean, one you couldn't shoot, and then that next one you could shoot. The problem was the other team shot a little bit better.
Couldn't stop them, yeah. Yeah, yesterday's game, the Utah game, was really a well-played game by both teams, especially offensively. Neither of us were committed too much to the defensive end, but I think part of it, both offenses were just clicking. Everybody was shooting the ball well. We just it's funny. We knew that we'd have to score at least 80 to have a chance at beating them, and I just didn't see them getting 100. But yeah, Friday was a whole different game. I mean, 0 for 16 from the three-point line, and it was really funny going into the game. we were the number 1 3-point shooting team in the conference.
Yeah.
And you just figure you're going to make more than none. So it was just, but defensively we were on point and played pretty well. We just, as you well know, you've been with us every game. It's just a tale of, the inconsistency again. We just, the nights we defend well, we don't, shoot it well, and then some nights we shoot it pretty well and we don't defend like we should. So we just got to at some point figure it out. I mean, we have 6 games left in the regular season. I hope we figure it out soon.
Yeah, how's the team? How's the psyche of the team? Do you feel they're in a pretty good spot? I mean, they're disappointed, and they should be, and they care. And I know you've said that, and I know this team, and they do care.
I think that way was fine. I think the game on Friday night was really disappointing, but we came back and had a really good practice on Saturday. The mood was great. The attitudes were great. I thought Sunday, we prepared well at our shoot-around before the game, and we played well, actually, on Sunday. So our kids are fighting. Yeah, they're disappointed. I mean, at Oregon, we just haven't been in this position in a while. And I think other teams feel it, too. I mean, they feel they've got a chance now to pounce on us. We hadn't lost to Utah or Colorado in this facility for a long time, and few of the games were even close.
Right.
And now we just lost to both, so you kind of start losing an edge, and there's a mental aspect to it too. But I think we're going to be fine. I anticipate we're going to have a good week of practice this week, and we're going to go down to the LAs and play well.
Yeah, absolutely. 35 points from Indy yesterday. I mean, there's been times that Indy's just carried this team throughout the year, and she gets it going, man. She's something else.
Yeah, she is. And, she also had 5 assists, too. So I think, didn't she? Did I read that right yesterday?
Yeah, and no turnovers in the amount of time, yeah.
Yeah, but, India, listen, she's had, 34 in a conference game, 33 in a conference game, now 35 in a conference game. We won only one of those 3, right? She, the thing with India, she's just got to do that a little bit more consistently for us, but she was outstanding and for the most part has been outstanding. I'm nitpicking here, but at the same time, we just, that's us. We just got to continue to be consistent, and if she can give us that at each and every game, okay, well, we'll figure it out at some point.
Yeah. Chance, also a pretty good game, 18 yesterday, and at times, I mean, you could see where she's heading, here the next few years, that she's going to be a great player, already a very good player.
Yeah, I think both her and Grace are, they should both be on the all-freshman team.
Oh, yeah.
Chance has actually been scoring better than Grace in conference play. I think she's our second leading scorer, and Grace our third. But even though Grace gets a lot of attention, I think Chance is, you're seeing it right before our eyes. She's getting better. We're playing her a little bit more at the 1, so the ball's in her hand a little bit more. She can get downhill a little bit better than some of our other guards. And then, if she gets that confidence going from the perimeter, she's a dual threat. Can take you off the dribble, and she can hit threes.
Yeah, you mentioned Grace, and she came back. She got injured, hurt her ankle down in Arizona, and you could tell it affected her, no doubt. And then she came back, and she's kind of back on her game a little bit and playing like Grace, isn't she?
Yeah, no doubt. I thought she had a pretty good weekend overall, her numbers anyway. Those two have been just stellar for us, and two that we've been relying on, during conference play a lot, probably more than you want to have to rely on freshmen.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a lot of players that with you've got some veterans and you got a mix of freshmen. And I go back to similarities. I've told some fans, I said, go back and look at Sabrina and Ruthie their freshman year. They were 18-12, and at this point in the season, they were 5-7 in the conference, just like this team is. There's a process that goes. Everybody's got to go through. You can't cut corners, can't you? You got to go through it.
Yeah, and then especially this year, you add the fact that the conference has never been better.
Right.
I mean, you look at Washington, who had, 2 or 3 wins in conference play, and they just beat Stanford. It's just every night. I'm not sure the league was quite as good back when Sabrina was there. We finished, 8-10 in conference play. And
in 6th place, yeah.
Yeah, and we won a couple games in the tournament, which got us into the field of 64. So, I didn't realize we were 5-7 at the same time that year as well. But it is. It's a process, and we've lost a lot of players over the last few years, and we had set such a high bar, that it's hard to keep that, that stature,
sure.
I guess.
And you got to target. Your Oregon one, the brand of Oregon, and then the way the Oregon women that you handled this conference for a long time.
Yeah, and like I said, I think other teams, they can smell that blood in the water a little bit. We can get them. And we just haven't, consistently risen to the same kind of intensity and focus that you need to for 40 minutes.
One more before we look at the L.A. trip is Taylor Hosendup.
Yeah.
I want to bet you. I mean, 9 rebounds yesterday, 8 were offensive rebounds. She's just got that knack of, I want the rebound, and she goes and gets it.
Yeah, she does. She's been playing really well and has earned a little bit more time. But, yeah, she really has a nose for the ball. And I remember when she transferred, her numbers weren't great out of Georgia State. But one of the things that Dana Altman told me, he says, if she's a good rebounder, that will translate to a higher level. And she has shown that. Knows her role. Yesterday was a good day for her because, Philly, it was just a tough matchup with Peely, because she can step out and make threes, and Philly's not comfortable in defending that far out, knowing that she can go by. So we played Taylor a little bit more, and she made the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the trip to L.A., 4 straight on the road. I don't know. You had 7 of your last 11 on the schedule on the road. I don't understand the scheduling of the Pac-12, how that can happen, but it's the way it is. You got USC pretty good. You got them Friday night. You got them pretty good up here. You play them Friday night, and then over to Poly against UCLA on Sunday. They're winnable games, but tough teams to play.
Both winnable, but, both would be very difficult. I think USC is playing with a ton more confidence than they did the last time we played. They had beaten, I think that next weekend after they played us, they beat Stanford, and they've been the standard. And so, the last couple of years. And so I think that just gave them some confidence. And then they went on and beat the mountains. One of the mountains on the road was Colorado. Yeah, so I think they're just playing better. They had 8 transfers in. And, it looks like it just took a little bit of time for them to gel. And now they're gelling. So we've got a work cut out for us, but certainly winnable games.
All right, Coach. Thanks for coming in and visiting. By the way, I do want to ask WNBA. You're on the panel. They're talking about the commissioner, I think, is coming in, and you're heading up to Portland later today.
I am. I'm taking 2 players with me. Taya Hansen and India Rogers are both going to go up with me, and we're Senator Ron Wyden put it together. He's been very vocal about Portland getting a WNBA franchise, and I think it'd be a great city for one.
Yes.
And so the WNBA commissioner, I believe the NBA commissioner might be there as well, and we're having a little social, a private gathering at the Sports Bra up in the all-female sports bar up in Portland, and that's where we're going to have a little social. I think we've got a few different speakers, and I think we're just going to try and make a pitch to the commissioner about Portland and why it would be a great move for the league to put a team here.
If it's about attendance, it's a no-brainer to bring a team back here to the Oregon.
Yeah, no doubt. I have two of the biggest fan bases in all of college basketball right here in the state, us in Oregon State, and then the Portland Thorns, I think, lead the women's soccer league, National Soccer League, in attendance. So Portland would be a great city, and and that's what we're going to try and, I don't say persuade, but we're going to hopefully make a strong look at Portland.
All right. Well, look forward to hearing about.
Could you imagine? Seriously, think about if Portland traded for Sabrina or Satu. Or you pick some of the Oregon State kids that have been in the league. Tell me that wouldn't be a hot ticket in Portland.
Oh, absolutely. Excuse me. All right, here we go. All right, we'll
got all choked up, Terry.
It does. I'm just so looking forward to that. You just got me all excited. All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, pal.
Appreciate you. And we'll be back with more here on Tip-Off Tuesday after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
All right, Pepsi-loving football fans, it's time we had a lesson in trash talk. And I'm not talking about that stuff that happens on the field. What I'm talking about is trash, and it's the only thing that belongs in your garbage can. No, recycling might not be as thrilling as converting a 4th and long, but next time you're thinking about throwing that Pepsi Zero Sugar bottle away, just cap it back up and pretend you're down by 6 with the recycling bin wide open. Know the difference? Make a difference. Be a team player and recycle. Visit PepsiTrashTalk.com to learn more.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome back to Tip-Off Tuesday as we talk Oregon women's basketball. Terry Jonz with Goober. It's also known as Grave VanSlooten, but Goober is a family. The family calls you that, right?
Yep, ever since I was little. I don't know where I got it. I think it's from the Goofy Goober episode of SpongeBob. And I don't know, ever since then, like, it just stuck. They call me Goober, Goob, Gooby, all different types.
Yeah, but you like it. I mean, it's family.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
family. But here, it's Sloot.
Yes.
You like Sloot?
I do. I like it a lot.
Okay, so we need to get the fans, when you make a bucket, Sloot, right? I mean, that's what we need to do, right?
I agree.
Okay, okay, fans, you heard it. She likes it. Let's do it. All right, 4 times Freshman of the Week in the Pac-12. You decided to throw in the Player of the Week at the same time on one of them.
Yep.
I mean, you should be proud of that. And hopefully you are, and I know your family is.
Mm-hmm.
But did you expect to do what you're doing?
I honestly came in here with not a ton of expectations. I kind of just came in to tried to play hard and kind of be ready whenever my name was called. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. I'm just trying to do whatever the team needs me to do, and that's what I did, and it ended up working out.
Now, you were 3 years at Notre Dame Academy in Toledo and then decided to go to IMG Academy down in, Bradenton, Florida, I think.
Yep.
Why? I know the answer, but why did you do that, and how did it go for you?
I mostly did it to prepare for college. It was kind of a way. I was still deciding which college I wanted to go to, and kind of helped to figure out if I could go far from home, like if I was going to be homesick or anything like that. And it helped me realize that I would be okay far from home. It gave me a lot of independence, taught me how to, do my own laundry, grocery shop. So basically just an extra year of college to kind of get ready and hopefully like excel once I really did get to college, and just be ready for everything that throws at me.
And a little tougher competition there than back in Ohio, but that's okay.
Yeah, we were playing, most of the time it was top 25 teams, so a lot better competition and just a way to push me and get me ready.
Yeah, so you don't know necessarily what it would be like if you didn't do that, but it did help you. I mean, you feel pretty comfortable here as a freshman, and a lot of times it's not that way.
Yeah, IMG treats it like a college, so, every day you have, in the morning I had 4 or 5 hours of workouts with lift and stuff like that, and then in the afternoon I'd go to school for about 4 hours, and that's just every day. So kind of helps you once you get to college. You have a couple classes a day, workouts in the morning or afternoon, and you're already on that schedule.
Did you have to cook for yourself?
No. There's a cafeteria.
Okay, so it was all that, kind of like here, right? You get plenty of food. But do you like to cook? Do you ever cook anything?
No, I never cook. I don't really know how to cook a lot of things, so I got to learn.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
I know. I know.
Now, picking Oregon, I know you and Chance. It wasn't necessarily a couple deal, but you guys had talked, coming in, and hey, if it worked out that way, it works out that way, and it did.
Yeah, we played AAU together for 3 years in high school, and it was kind of our junior year. We realized we really liked playing with each other, and we had really good chemistry on the court. And then we started talking. We had a lot of similar schools in our top 5, top 10. And then we started taking some of our visits together and just kind of realized we really wanted to play with each other, and it worked out that way.
It's going well, isn't it?
Very well.
Yeah. You guys, what was it, a fast break against Utah? I think you had it, you were leading it, and then you kicked it back to Chance for a 3, I think it was.
She, tipped a ball or something, and I picked it up for a steal, and then she was behind me, just a little pass back.
Yeah. That's kind of been playing together a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You know what each other's thinking.
Just a little bit.
Getting to wear the USA on your chest.
Oh, yeah.
The U18, and you won a gold medal at the America's Championship down in Argentina. What was that like?
It was amazing. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. Just going to a different country like Argentina, it's so different than what we have in the USA. But to be able to play for your country with that on your chest and to win a gold medal for your country, it's just an amazing feeling, and by far one of the best experiences ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. 5-7 in the Pac-12. I know you guys didn't expect to be there, expect to be a little better. It's been a little rough here the last few games. And I don't know if you're aware of this. I've been telling fans the last few broadcasts, if you go back to Sabrina Ionescu and Ruthie Hebert's freshman year, you know what their record was through 12 conference games?
5-7,
yeah.
Going to the LAs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they ended up 8-10 in the conference, and,
right.
And then they got it rolling in the Pac-12 tournament, and then in the NCAA tournament made it to the Elite Eight. So you guys look at that and realize, and they got blown out a few times. You guys have not done that along the way. So you're in good stead, right? You feel that?
Yes, I do feel that. And I don't know, there's just something about this trip. I think it's going to go well. And I just think we really need to lock in and really put everything together for a full 40 minutes, which I don't think we've done yet.
Yeah, and 5-7, by the way, that team played UCLA and USC, I think, the next weekend. So it's, it's amazing the mirror image of this. Well, you got a director of athletic culture named Sabrina.
Yep.
You take advantage of that and talk with Sab?
Yeah. I was actually texting with her yesterday, just asking for advice on anything any advice she has for what's going on this year, what I can do to make sure everybody stays motivated and in good spirits and everything like that. So she's great to have there as a resource.
Yeah, she knows. She's been through it.
Does.
And she can tell you it wasn't all roses when they were freshmen. But you got a pregame ritual that you do? Anything you do?
I
know you chew gum, right?
I do. I chew gum. Anytime I'm playing basketball, whether it's just standing there shooting, I have to have a piece of gum. I don't know why. It's just been that way ever since I started playing. But for a pregame ritual, I don't know, listen to some music, just kind of hang out. I don't really do anything superstitious or anything like that.
What's the gum for you?
Peppermint.
Peppermint. As I know, Tahina comes over. It's got to be mint. She can.
Yeah.
I think she does. She can do fruit other times, but the fruity won't last throughout the whole game.
Oh no, I could never do fruit. It has to be mint.
It's always mint. Not even off the court.
No, it's always mint.
All right. Free throws. You hit 2 free throws to send it into overtime against Washington State. It didn't go our way at the overtime. But what was that like for you? What that moment? How were you doing? Because I think wasn't there a timeout, right? And then you had to think about it a little bit.
They were checking the clock, and it was taking for I remember it felt like 20 minutes. When they called the foul, my hands just started sweating, shaking. I was really nervous. I was trying not to make eye contact with anybody because if I did, they were just gonna be like, you got this, just slow down, focus. And I think that would make me start thinking more and more. So I just kind of treated it like it was any other free throws. And, luckily they both went in.
Yeah, you just go through it in your mind. Hey, I've done this 1,000 times.
Right.
And that's tough. Did you ever had any other moments like that in your past? That was
the first time.
Well, you handled it beautifully.
Thank you.
So way to go. Well, we're short of time here, but I want to show you something here. I wore this especially for you. I don't know if you could see
Tampa,
what it said.
2016.
Final Four, Tampa 2019.
Oh, 2019. Okay.
So we would have had one in 2020, I think, for New Orleans and probably a championship trophy.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I would have gotten a picture with, no doubt.
I agree.
But I need another one of these, okay?
Yeah.
No pressure.
I'll get you one.
You will? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I will.
I like that. Well, Grace, glad you came to be a Duck, by the way.
Thank you.
And
Me too.
love your family. Met your mom, John and Michelle, and I know you got brothers and sisters, right?
A lot of them, yeah. Two
How
brothers,
many?
2 sisters.
So they kind of worked you. Are they older?
I have 2 older brothers, an older sister, and then a younger sister. And it's my younger sister's birthday today, actually. So.
Well, look into camera and say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sophie.
There you go. All right. Okay. But that helps to have brothers and sisters toughen you up. And I know your dad could toughen you up a little bit too, right?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Like, one-on-one in the backyard. Always ended in a fight. Balls being thrown. All the time.
Yeah. I'm one of 4 boys. I know how that went.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened with us. I want to go have a Pepsi with your dad because I know he's got stories.
Oh, he does.
He seems like a great guy.
He is.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Now you got to go be that student part of the student athlete.
You got to do it.
Thanks, Grace. There you go.
Thank
Grace
you.
VanSlooten and Sloot. We got to get that going at Matthew Knight Arena.
I think we can
There
do
you
that.
go. Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in.
Or is it boo? You go slower. Sloot.
Well, I think that's up to
so
you.
So it sounds like a boo, right? It's like, but
yeah.
we all know that it's not.
Yeah.
It's Sloot.
I think you're on to something. She was into
She likes it.
Yeah,
All
I think
right.
that's great.
Duck fans, there you go.
That's awesome.
She's
Yeah.
great. Grace
outstanding.
VanSlooten, yeah. Having a great year.
Outstanding.
Maybe the freshman of the year. Might be between her and Chance. There's another one possible, but they've got a good shot. I mean, you got 4 freshmen, Pac-12 freshmen of the week. You got a shot.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. Well, I want to say
this was fun.
It was fun. I went longer with Coach Fish because my plan this week was to talk with Rivaldo Soares, and I want to make sure that I tell this story.
Yeah.
So it's Sunday, and we're coordinating a time to have Waldo, that's what guys call him, Rivaldo Soares come over and do an interview. Well, I'm not kidding. In very student-athlete fashion, his 8 a.m. until the Ducks are practicing in the afternoon on both Monday and Tuesday, completely full. Every half hour was booked. So I thought, well, it's not going to happen this week, but we're going to try to get him in later in the week and then maybe air that later on. During like next week's Tip-Off Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people had asked, like, well, the men's basketball players, when are we going to get more of them on the show? And the truth is that the scheduling can be a challenge, especially with a team that practices in the afternoon like the Ducks do. So anyway, we're hoping to have.
That's a great story, though.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
He takes it seriously.
He does, and I'll be honest, it's been rare that I haven't been able to find like a half-hour window where we can do it. But yeah, so anyway, we're hoping to have Rivaldo Soares next week because I'll tell you, he might have made the play of the weekend actually in the win over Arizona State. He was the one that dove for the ball, knocked one loose that could have been a layup for ASU at the end of the half, led to Keyshawn Barthélemy hitting the 3 at the end of the half. Ducks could have been down 8.
Yeah.
Instead, they were down 3.
That was big.
And then scored the first 5 points of the game at Arizona State in the second half, never lost the lead. Little things can matter, and that's kind of where we're at with
I was
good
stirring
teams.
up the house watching that.
Were you?
Yeah, I was yelling and screaming.
That's fun.
I'm like,
That's
the Ducks
good.
are going to win.
Big week. Both teams against the LA schools. Women on
Yeah.
the road Friday at 7 o'clock, and then the men at home Thursday at 8 o'clock against USC. Big week.
Let's go.
Oh, feels like postseason basketball.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with